Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Welcome, my friends. Thank you so much for joining us on this October 4th, 2010, Monday edition of the Global Transmission Against Tyranny. We had him on a few weeks ago, but they've since had meetings at the state legislature. Daryl Metcalfe, a member of the Pennsylvania legislature who was spied on by basically Mossad, is going to be joining us. The head of Homeland Security in the state, who was paying taxpayer money to the Israeli group, has stepped down. And there are criminal/civil investigations going on. London Telegraph writer James Delingpole will be joining us for 30 minutes at the last half of the second hour to discuss the video we played on Friday and on the Sunday broadcast, this 1010 project funded by the big carbon exchange, Al Gore and others, showing children being murdered, being blown into bits, blood all over the other children. And they admit the message is support carbon taxes or die. And we've got Al Gore last year telling school children in the U.S., tell your parents what to do. They don't know best. Support the carbon taxes. Pay me all your money, or the earth will basically die. And we have ABC News in Australia with a carbon calculator teaching children when to die. That was the headline. ABC News, but that's ABC Australia, teaches kids when they should die. That was all in Paul Watson's article that he wrote on Friday. Delingpole also covered it. But now we have a clip of Pachari on Al Jazeera saying we're going after the children. They're much easier to get than adults because they're gullible. And parents just put them in government training camps known as public schools worldwide where the globalists can basically have their way with them in these modern re-education centers. So that is coming up with James Delingpole in the latest on the global warming, global taxation hoax situation. Another big report out at prisonplanet.com this morning. I covered this on Sunday, but Watson's got a story out on it today, closing the circle, giving you the full breakdown. The government has an appetite for your blood, and they're now announcing different ways they're going to be taking your blood at warrantless checkpoints. And when you go to the DMV or when your baby's born, all going into the government databases. And this is out of the Washington Post, the original source article that Paul Joseph Watson is sourcing from. The government has an appetite for your blood. Dutch politician on trial on hate speech charges. And he's criticizing Islam and saying that it wants to take over Europe. And whether that's true or not, that's his free speech. But Europe, once a bastion of free speech in the last 50 years, he's facing prison time. Geert Wilders went on trial Monday for alleged hate speech, even as his popularity and influence in the Netherlands are near all-time highs. And other countries in Europe where they're having anti-immigration, open border parties start taking power in the parliament, the other groups in Parliament are getting together saying, well, we're just going to nullify your votes. That's happening in several nations. We'll be talking about that. So regardless of where you sit on this whole issue, people either have their right to free speech or they don't. And this all started in Europe about, oh, you can't praise Nazis or you can't, deny the Holocaust. And a lot of people said, well, that sounds reasonable. Those are bad groups. But it's used against everybody. And now it's used against criticizing the European Union. And it's used for criticizing major GMO producers. Remember Robin Page 6 years ago, the BBC top reporter was at a rally and said rural communities deserve the same rights as homosexuals and Muslims. Boom, arrested. For the word homosexual, they said, was hurtful. And they're trying to pass new laws where if anything you say is even offensive to a group, you go to jail. So this is the tyranny that we are dealing with in a big, big way. We're also going to get into all of this hyping, and that's our top story when we come back, for terror attacks in Europe and the United States. Listen up, friends. This is Alex Jones with key information.
The mainstream media is now admitting that we're going into a depression. Don't be dependent on the government for you and your family. You need to get your own supply of high-quality storable foods from efoodsdirect.com. They're the best company out there, the longest continually operating, with a ton of great food to choose from. It's all fresh, made on a monthly basis, not some old cruddy food they're selling you like some of the other guys. Try their new evacuation pack, a 2-week supply of delicious, easy-to-fix food. It comes with all the equipment you need to prepare it. With open talk of a strike on Iran in the next 3 months, the crisis in the Gulf, and possible evacuations, get yourself and your family ready today. The place to go is efoodsdirect.com. Go to their website online right now, efoodsdirect.com/Alex, or call 800-409-5633. Again, on the web, efoodsdirect.com/Alex, or give them a call at 800-409-5633.
You may be arrested and/or subject to other police action.
Tyranny is here. The grim future foretold in 1984 has become reality.
It really says that the state is God.
The United States is now recognized globally as one of the most oppressive police states on earth. This film conclusively proves the existence of a secret network of FEMA camps, now being expanded nationwide. This documentary exposes how the continuity of government program has established an all-powerful shadow state. Police State 4 chronicles the sickening depths to which our republic has fallen. Prepare to enter the secretive world of emergency dictatorship, body scanners, sound cannons, citizen spies, stage terror, and cameras on every street corner. It's only the beginning of the New World Order's hellish plan. The police state isn't coming. It's here. Secure your copy today at Infowars.com or see it online in the highest quality at prisonplanet.tv.
You've heard Alex explain how the Silver Lungs generator infuses the respiratory system with your self-produced colloidal silver solutions, yet many are unaware of the entire function of the Silver Lungs system and how it has been designed to deliver your silver solutions anywhere in or on the body. My name is Mario Cifaldi, and I'm the developer of the Silver Lungs generator. Not only does the Silver Lungs system produce endless colloidal and ionic silver solutions, it also comes equipped with the proper applicators and devices needed to deliver your silver solutions directly to key target areas. This includes the eyes, ears, nose, lungs, topically to the skin, and orally for the digestive system. Be sure to watch our new 7-minute video tour of the Silver Lungs system at www.silverlungs.com to learn more about how the Silver Lungs system works. As well, we are always ready to answer any questions you may have. That's www.silverlungs.com.
Crashing through the lies and disinformation. It's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Well, we predicted it with precision back in July, 3 months ago. We put out multiple reports at Infowars.com, prisonplanet.com, and this syndicated radio/television transmission that going into the election cycle, probably in October, there would either be the hype that domestic groups were going to launch terror attacks along with, quote, Muslims, or they would actually launch the attack. And we also pointed out that we saw a lot of the hype pointing towards an attack on Europe to get Europe behind all these expansions of the wars in Afghanistan, Pakistan, the continuation that is ongoing inside Iraq. Another big tell is that the system knows that 9/11 Truth has taken one of their main mechanisms, problem, reaction, solution, stage terror, false flag, self-inflicted, inside job, government-sponsored terror operations. We've taken that favored mechanism and basically damaged it, almost destroyed it. And so in the last 6 months or so, you've seen a massive rehabilitation of it, but it's failed. But they've attempted by having Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert and having Beck and having Limbaugh and Hannity. It's a talking point. Come out and imply 9/11 truthers are with the terrorist and they're going to attack you, and therefore the socialized health care, and they're communists, basically. Doesn't matter if 9/11 truthers are across the political spectrum and are just looking at the facts and saying, hey, all the evidence shows this was an inside job. And so we see them rehabilitating the idea that terror is real and going to hit us any minute, when they had a Gallup poll just a month ago showing 1% of Americans believe terror is the #1 issue in this country, down from 44% just a few years before that. And before that, it was as high as 80+% as the most important issue right after 9/11 for the American people. And it varies in the polls, but it's basically the same spread. You can pull those polls up. We've covered those. So we can just search the term right now. 1% of Americans think terror the greatest threat. That was a Gallup poll, again, I think 3-4 weeks ago. Now, so they're trying to rehabilitate it. They're trying to demonize 9/11 truth. And they're reintroducing the idea that these attacks are imminent. And we have something even more important happening. The globalists are very arrogant. They think the public is completely stupid. And there are a lot of self-absorbed, delusional people who literally don't even know who their neighbors are, where their state capital is, who don't know the 3 branches of government. But that's probably 25-30% of the public. Most people don't have a really tight grasp on what's happening historically, but they're starting to get a better one. And the system still goes ahead with this arrogance, this hubris that they are unstoppable and they can get away with anything. And so criminals like to brag. And so we've seen all these Democrats, all these Republicans, all these strategists, and I read a lot of these quotes yesterday, running around in the news media like Robert Shapiro in the Financial Times of London, saying, look, Obama needs, there's the Hill newspaper, poll, 1% are terrorist, 1% see terrorism as top problem. So 1% are obsessed with this fake manufactured crisis. But going back to what I was saying, I just wanted to pull that poll up for you so you'd see it for yourself. They love to brag about what they're doing, and they love to openly, just thinly veil in public discussions. That's a big treat for them, that they are basically the terrorist. And they communicate with each other. If Obama doesn't have a major terror attack run by domestic groups, a la Oklahoma City, or another big al-Qaeda attack, his whole agenda is dead. If he can just get a terror attack, everything's going to be okay. And then Paul Watson's article he wrote about this back in July that I read some passages from yesterday, it goes through quotes by the head of the Republican Party in a major state, top Republican strategist, top Republican columnist, meetings in the Pentagon recorded and released with Rumsfeld and the top 5 Pentagon liaisons to the news networks saying, sir, without another attack, we're not going to get this agenda through. And Rumsfeld's like, I know, but it's hard. Let's not talk about this here. And we've played that before. And they're 1 inch from just coming right out. But, of course, at these higher levels, that's how they commune with each other. You know, they're at the Pentagon and they're like, look, boss, without another attack, if we just had another, we could really get this agenda done. And remember all the bizarre headlines about 9/11 helped America, 9/11 brought us together, and 9/11 was a good thing, and we sure need another one, and all the different reporters and columnists that had to apologize for saying that. And now Obama, in another big signal, came out just, 2 weeks ago and said, 9/11 brought us together. 9/11 made us stronger. And, gee, I've tried to keep you safe from all these attacks. And his surrogates basically parroted the same thing and went on to say, you know, you wouldn't give all your rights up, so now al-Qaeda's going to get you. That's right, and next time they hit, you're going to learn to not give us that line about civil liberties. And, of course, it all mirrors Jack Bauer and that fiction program where he's always doing the tough thing to keep the people safe. And at the end of the day, we always learn he's right. And he's right about global warming. Jack Bauer's fighting it. And a lot of conservatives, said, well, maybe we should have a carbon tax. I mean, Jack Bauer's for it. Literally. And now bin Laden comes out in an undocumented, new audio tape. The government